Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday! Happy Thursday, chosen ones. I hope you guys are enjoying your day thus far. So, I want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned, and I want to jump right in. I want to talk to you all about people pleasing. I know some of you got my photo this morning in regards to the video that Pastor Blake's posted last night on his second channel in regards to mental health and self-care and things like that. If you haven't, then I will hopefully remember to put it in the description. But I want to give you my opinion. Again, my opinion, and I will hope to hear yours in the comment section as we talk about people-pleasing personality. All right, so first I want to read you the definition that I pulled up on Google in regards to people-pleasing personality. And listen to this because, it really checked your girl when I read it, right? I was like, whoa. All right. Okay, so here we go. A people-pleasing personality is a person who is desperate to feel important or needed. They lack self-worth, confidence, and self-belief, and it makes it almost impossible for them to maintain and set healthy boundaries. That's a read. That's a read. Okay, so now let's talk about what can be some causes for people to feel this way. So I'm going to start with just a few. Let's talk about rejection. Again, this can be from peers. Again, my chosen ones, we were misunderstood. So just rejection on people who never understood you. Sometimes your own peers, sometimes your own siblings, even strangers. Rejection in relationships, even in marriages, especially if that person left you for someone else and you deem that person to maybe look better than you or have more than you, and you're looking at it as, well, my ex left me because I wasn't good enough and this person was. Let's talk about people who may have been given up for adoption. Even though I believe that's a beautiful thing, some people still feel like I wasn't good enough. Even if that parent or parents gave them up because maybe it was best for them, they couldn't afford them, or it just was some other stuff. Regardless of the reason, it can still leave that void of feeling like, why wasn't I good enough? Especially if the parents raised other siblings and they were the only one given away. Also, if you were a child who took on a lot of adult responsibilities, such as maybe you had a parent who maybe worked a lot. In our community, sometimes our parents had to work so many hours, and sometimes the young children, were left to fend for their siblings, especially if you're like the oldest child. And so it's like, okay, your parents had to do what they had to do to take care of us, right? But that still meant like you as a child being responsible for your other siblings, feeding them and dressing them and making sure they get off to school, and just playing that adult role, right? Trying to protect the whole house, and you're a child yourself, trying to be sure that no one breaks in and every little noise that you hear is freaking you out because you're only a child, right? Some of you may have had addicted parents who were addicted to drugs and alcohol. Again, that in turns most times means that you had to be responsible for your siblings, or even if it's just for yourself. You had to cook for yourself, you had to play an adult, and you were only a child. Last one, ding, 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 ding. Definitely myself, my empaths. Remember, you feel every single thing. So if you're around individuals and you feel that they're hurting, you feel their pain, you feel their abandonment issues, you feel all the stuff that they're going through, because you feel it, then you want to fix it. You want to fix it for them, but most importantly, you want to fix it so you're not feeling that same type of agony that they're experiencing at the time. So it's almost like, yes, I love to help people, so I want to help you, but if you really tap into that feeling that you're feeling, yes, it's about helping them, but you just want to get rid of that feeling for yourself because you're carrying the same exact feelings what they're carrying. So you want to fix it. Fixers. All right, so some of these things that we just talked about can lead to not knowing how to put up boundaries. You find yourself doing whatever and sacrificing yourself just to fit in and feel needed. So you're not even thinking about self and what self is lacking and what self is needing. Instead, the individuals who you have these unhealthy boundaries with, you're doing every single thing just to please them or to make them happy. Sometimes you will find yourself even overly exerting yourself in other people's lives, like you're giving opinions or you're stepping in, they're trying to do something and you come in and you're trying to take the wheel because you really just want to help them. And most times we don't even realize that we're offending these people. I had to learn, I just learned this maybe like a year ago. Because see, in our minds, we're stepping in because we want to just help you. But we don't even realize that we are making people feel worthless. Because it's almost like, well, am I not doing a good enough job that you're going to come in here and put your hands in everything? Do you not respect my vision or respect my opinion? And we don't even know any better. We don't even know any better. We're just overly exerting ourselves. And what happens when we feel like the person doesn't appreciate us? Or, this is a big one. This right here, this makes your girl see red. Or when there's a disagreement, right? And you're like overexerting yourself and you're helping. And then finally, like you get into like this little petty argument. And then they say something like, well, I didn't ask you to do it anyway. What? You didn't ask me to do it. No, you didn't ask me, but I was helping you. We are all messed up. How in the world you are upset with someone for overexerting yourself and they never even asked for the help, and now you're upset because they don't appreciate your overexertiveness? That was a wake-up call for me right there. I was like, well, I'll be darned. Whew. But anyway, okay. But listen, I know some of you felt that because some of you, we've talked about things like that, right? All right. Next thing, all that not having boundaries, you know what it does? It leads to anxiety. Then it has us all over the place. Because think about it. We have no walls. Like there's no like order and structure. So we're just all over the place. You know, we're doing our things. We're overexerting ourselves in this person's life. We are allowing people to call us and use us, and we're just all over the place. And then finally, it's like, oh my goodness, I have an anxiety attack. Well, I would figure so. And of course, I do know that anxiety runs deeper than that, and that's not the only like way. But a lot of times if you sit back and you look at your life and you realize how much you're doing and how many people are calling and pulling at you, and even if they're not asking and you're overexerting yourself, then it's like, I mean, you're all over the place. You're all over the place. Your mind is boggling all over the place. All right, so here's another thing. This is huge for me. And you know what? I'm in a season. I think I said this in one of my recordings the other day. I'm in a season that God is truly teaching me this. And it is the most difficult thing at the beginning. And then you realize at the end how beautiful it is. And that is, as a people pleaser, you are so used and conditioned to giving that you do not know how to receive. You don't know how to receive help. You don't know how to even receive healthy, I don't say healthy relationships or things that are done healthy within the relationship. It's almost like I think a young lady, her and I was conversing back and forth on YouTube about this. Now, she was saying that she feels that way for herself, where like she's lived a life in childhood, she was violated, and I think she was even raped and all this not good stuff. I'm sorry. She was raped and all this stuff. And it's almost like she has a hard time receiving because she feels as if anyone who is attempting to help her is doing it for unhealthy reasons. And it's almost like she wants to say, let me give this back to you. You give me this, I'll give you this, because I don't want you to feel like I owe you anything. And I get in the, I fully understand what she was saying with that as well. But for myself and for some of you, it's just that we're so used to being the giver, again, because of all these different trauma triggers in our lives, that we, believe it or not, we adopt this sense of it makes us feel good. As crazy as it sounds, it makes us feel good to help other people. And so it's almost like a soul tie almost. So you're giving because you want people to accept you. You want to feel needed and you want to feel all this stuff. And the truth of the matter is, when you meet authentic, genuine people who are truly trying to help you, you are rejecting their help. And some of these people are people that God will bring into your lives to help you, to help take this load off of you, to help steer this ship in a godly, safe, protective way. And we are rejecting their help because we don't even know how to accept it because we're so used to giving. You know, one of my staff members has said a while back, she said, God will always show you you. And it's so true. It's so true. So I had took 3 of my staff members, as well as one of my patients, out to dinner one day. This was maybe like 4 months ago. And so one of the young ladies, who definitely have a history of just, I'm talking about massive trauma issues in childhood. We were at dinner, and it's almost like she couldn't sit still. She could not touch her food until she made sure we were all set up. Mind you, we're all adults here and we're setting ourselves up. Well, with the exception of my client, my patient, of course, she got her together. But even after that, she couldn't sit in her own chair. She was so busy unfolding our napkins, wiping under this. And I'm like, thank you. But come on, sit down and enjoy your food. I'm treating you. Enjoy this food. And she's like, oh, yeah, you're right, boss lady. And then she'll sit down and take a couple of bites. And if somebody's fork happened to be all halfway off the plate, she's jumping up out of her seat. And it's like, I looked at her and I was like, I know you're divorced, but if you ever get remarried, your husband, the way she dotes on people, it's a beautiful thing, right? If it's coming from a healthy place, because it's almost like you feel like a queen or a king around her. But then I felt like, wow, this can't be healthy, because you're not even sitting out enjoying yourself. Instead, you're giving to us, and we're over here enjoying ourselves. And here you can't even enjoy yourself and receive that I'm giving you this beautiful free meal. I'm giving you this time to just relax, and you can't even relax because you're so busy taking care of everyone else. And that was an epiphany for me, because I saw me. No, I'm not going to be all over your plate trying to wipe this and wipe that, and I'm not jumping up out of my seat when I'm eating, but I can see me doing that in different areas, meaning putting your stuff in front of my stuff. And so when I saw that and I received that, and God allowed me to see that in the spirit, that helped me to really realize what it is that I'm doing. And it was mind-blowing. All right, so how do we fix this nonsense? How do we fix this nonsense? And I'm so proud of myself, because again, I was intentional for like the last year and a half, 2 years, about really figuring this thing out. Because again, many times this is a lifelong thing that you've been doing. So you got to be gentle with yourself and don't get so frustrated when you can't change any issues overnight. These are things that we've been doing for a lifetime. So sometimes people get frustrated when they don't see the results, like in a month or 5 months or a year. Like, you've been doing it, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years. You can't change this stuff overnight. It's about, first and foremost, recognizing that it's unhealthy, recognizing that it's an issue, and then realize that you need to start that healing process. But again, like I just said, we've been doing this for so long. So personally, with a lot of things, I believe flesh can't do it alone. That's just my thought process. I believe like we have to literally ask God to step in. Literally, because we just can't do it on our own. So many times, we don't even know that what we're doing is so wrong because it feels so good to us to help other people that we don't even realize how it is hurting us. This is why we sometimes have all these health issues, anxiety and stress and all this other stuff that we got going on in our body. And it's because we're stressed out. Why are we so stressed? Why are we really so stressed? I mean, life itself life is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but life is already stressful. And we have all these other factors of being a people pleaser adding in. So for myself, and I didn't realize that it was so unhealthy, that I literally almost felt my mind slip. This was like maybe 5-6 years ago. And I was like, I had everything on me. Everything. Mind you, I don't have children. So people are quick to think like, well, Kizzy, you don't have children, so you should have more time. You chop. Okay. If you think children is the only thing that keeps your life tied up, come walk a day with me. So there was a moment that I had. I just had this moment and I was like, God, what is this? Please help me. Send me somebody that's going to help me steer the ship. I'm just tired. Everybody and their mama want me. And I just had this moment in my kitchen and I was just, and then God heard me. And this is what Pastor Blix was saying last night in his recording. He was saying that when Hurricane Katrina first happened and he was so, busy with just trying to rebuild his church or decide if he's going to rebuild. And then he was trying to get the other church, I think in Dallas or either Houston, off the ground. And of course, he got a wife, he got family, he's traveling back and forth. And you got all these physical demands as well as financial demands from your members, from your family. And he was like, he just had this moment and he called his dad. And he was like, he really believed in his hearts of his hearts that he was having a nervous breakdown. And it was only God's grace, who kept his mind. And that's when he said that, I was like, oh my goodness, that's exactly how I felt in that kitchen. People think like a nervous breakdown is just something that can just happen and boom, you just have it all of a sudden. No, it's a process. It's a process. And you don't even realize you're going through it until you just have this one time where it's all have added up and it's too heavy. Do you know how many people have literally lost their minds? This is why I tell people, stop being judgmental when you see people walking down these streets talking to themselves. And of course, we do know some of that is, other forms of mental illness. But if you're not careful, it will take a second for your mind to slip. So you have to make a conscious decision. If you are over your head and you're overloaded with everybody, you got your children on your back, you got your grown children, got you picking up 35 children because they want to party, and then you have to mind them again in the morning because somebody's missed school. I know you love your babies. I get it. It's about boundaries and healthy boundaries. You got your staff members. If you're a manager at a job, you got everybody coming at you because they need time off because this is going on in their life and this is going on in their lives. Boundaries. You got to learn healthy boundaries. I dealt with that as well. Boundaries. Point blank, period. Your issues is not my issues. I've done it all my life. I've allowed people to bring their issues that they want. They're dealing with toxic people who are in turn giving them issues. And then they will bring the issues to you and want you to deal with their issues and their toxic family and people issues on top of your own issues. Boundaries, point blank, period. Boundaries. So again, once we ask God to step in, we always have a part to play. Because God will give you grace. God will give you downloads and show you certain things to do certain boundaries to put into place. He will tell you to say no at certain times, but it's going to be one of the most difficult things you've ever done because, mind you, you have a history of pleasing people. And also, it makes you feel good to please others, with the exception of when it comes too heavy and you can no longer do it. But when you're just naturally helping and you're not burnt out from it, it makes you feel good. So again, it's almost like a soul tie. So when God is requiring you to do these things, you're going to have it coming from both ways. You're going to feel like I'm disappointing this person, and then you're going to have that feeling of emptiness within you because sometimes you found your value, sadly, in helping other people. So this is why you have to be intentional. Intentional means you do it even when it don't feels good. You just have a healthy way of thinking about it now, and you know that you want better. Because I'm going to tell you one thing I've learned. Honestly, when you're like that and you have no boundaries and you're allowing people to come in and just play with you all kind of way and not respecting, God is not about to send anybody in your life that he has designed for you, as well as certain blessings. Why would he give you certain blessings that in turn is going to require more of you when you still have all these unhealthy boundaries? So it's almost like God will be a bad father to give you additional stress. So he's going to hold, this is why a lot of our blessings are held back. I can't believe, I was just telling somebody the other day, I made a post to you guys last night. It blows my mind, the blessings that God has released to me. Like I said, I've walked in rooms with people in celebrities and public figure, and these people see the light in me. They want to know more about me, right? I've seen increase in all areas of my life. And I kept thinking, like, how in the world is all this stuff coming all of a sudden? It's because I've learned to respect and be obedient to anything that God is asking me. So if God is asking you to let certain people go because they're very, very toxic and that they will never learn, and in fact, they're just using you, or if God is teaching you to put certain people in place, not in place as in you get in your place, but but he will show you how to deal with them. Sometimes you have to love people from a distance. So if God is asking you to, put certain boundaries in place, trust me when I tell you, the real will be there. The real will stay because they were never there to use you and take advantage of you. But the ones who were always there just to take advantage of you, yes, they will fall off. But that's going to be for your betterment. My phone don't blow up like it used to. I couldn't sit down without my phone ringing. Literally. Now, I know my phone goes off a lot. I know some of you are saying, girl, as much as your phone goes, oh, speaking of that, it didn't go off. I finally learned how to turn off my notifications. Knock on wood. But my phone don't ring not even as half as much as it used to ring. Why? Because I put boundaries in place. Yes, I still have my days where I struggle, but I get convicted. And because, see, this is why I say sometimes you have to ask God to step in. Because when you have a relationship with God and he convicts you and you want to help somebody, but he convicts you not to do so because he may have his own personal reason why he doesn't want you to help that person. When he convicts you, your obedience is going to be to God. So it's like that person can be pulling at you all day long and you could be feeling sad and blue all day long, like, oh, I just want to help them. But your obedience is going to be to God. So I don't believe for myself, flesh can't do it on its own. This little heart of mine, honey, this huge heart and this empath, I just couldn't do it on my own. So my obedience is to God. Here's another thing. Last thing. You're going to have to start developing your self-esteem and your confidence through healing. I think it was Sarah Jakes Roberts who said, who spoke about soul care over self-care. I absolutely love that because here we are thinking, oh, I'm feeling down and I feel like, I have to take care of my mental health because I'm all stressed out and I'm all this. I'm going to go and get my hair done. I'm going to get my nails done. That's all. Listen, your girl like that too. Your girl like to get cute too. But what happens when you leave out of that salon from getting your nails done? Like, what? You're still dealing with all the stuff. So check in with your soul. How am I feeling today? If you are overwhelmed today, listen, I'm just not answering my phone today, period. I mean, there was a time in my life where, and I still struggle at times, if my phone rings, I'm almost like running to it. Or if I left my phone at home and I'm making a run to the store, I will find myself turning back around because I'm freaking out like, oh, somebody might need me. Somebody may need me. What happens if something happens? Who are you? Supergirl? And I'm intentional about it now. I'm intentional about it. If God says leave the phone down or don't answer it, I'm not going to answer it. So when you're not feeling your best, when someone's calling you to pick up their children, I'm sorry, but I just can't. When someone's calling you or your boss is calling you and asking you, hey, someone called out, can you please come to work? I just can't. And those are a few examples, because one thing I've learned is this right here. Many times we really handicap people. We handicap people. When you decide to start putting boundaries in place, guess what? These people find a way. That's why they don't call you no more, because they've already found another solution. It could be them jumping to use somebody else, cool, whatever, got to deal with them. Or they may just have already decided like, all right, I can't rely on this person for everything, but I need to figure this thing out for myself. Right? So once you get to that place where you've worked on your core foundation of your self-esteem and confidence, and you respect yourself enough to know that I matter, you will keep your cup overflow and everyone else, you will keep your cup filled and everyone else will get the overflow. They'll get the overflow. Because what we don't even realize is we're running ourselves ragged, but have you ever considered if you fall, everybody falls? So the same people you're attempting to help, they won't even get help anyway. Because if you're sick in the hospital because you already stressed yourself out and had this, nervous breakdown, they're still not getting anyway. And guess what? The majority of those people who you had that nervous breakdown for would not even be to the hospital to help you. They wouldn't even have you think about. They wouldn't even have you think about. So know that you matter. Know that you come first. And that's not selfish. I used to think that was so selfish to just focus on putting self first. That is not selfish. That's selfless. Put yourself first. Because when you're good, you can help everyone else. But most importantly, let me tell you what's going to happen. When you start putting those boundaries up and God starts sending these massive blessings in your life, because now you can receive them in a healthy mindset, those same people who always had intentions of using you, even though they act like they love you and they act like they this and that, and their intentions were to only use you because they know anytime that they called, you would be there, they're going to miss you. Because now they have to go out into the real world and they're going to realize that you are rare. You are a gem. And the majority of people in this world ain't thinking about nobody else except them and their family. So they're not going to even lift a hand to help them. And now it's going to be like, oh my goodness, I had this one person in my life who I can call at any time. They would drop anything to be with me and this, that, and this. I can't even find that no more. And now they want to come back. But they can't, because your boundaries are in place. And because now you know who you are, you will never ever allow anyone to come into your life who does not reciprocate what you can give. You deserve it, friends. I'm telling you, start working on that self-esteem and that confidence. Start your healing process. Yes, people run from healing because it hurts. You got to relive that stuff. But it's going to be the only way you can process it and get it out of your system. God needs to clean you up. You're full of toxins, lifelong toxins. God has to purify you before he sends your blessings in, before he get you on your journey to your destiny. Well, you're on your journey, but I'll say move you further along. You won't go from step to step on your journey like I did for a very long time. Step, 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 wait for 2 years, step, step, wait for 5 years, step, step. It's only because we weren't even healthy enough to receive everything that he has. Now I'm taking jumps. I'm like holding on to God's leg, like, all right, let's go, let's jump. I'm ready, let's jump. Because I can receive all that. And again, I know I don't have it all together, I promise you. But I'm intentional. I'm intentional every single day about this healing journey because I want every single thing that God has for me. Yes, He's given me so much, but He has more. He has more for us. So it's time for you to get your all access pass. Are you ready? Are you ready? It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.